short story, whilst we're speaking about imagination and creativity. I travelled to Barcelona to watch first team training back in 2012, and I was there with my translator watching first team training. Guardiola was the manager at the time, and we were watching all of the great players, Iniesta, Messi, Xavi, Puyol, and afterwards I said to my translator, you know, can you tell me a little bit about some of the secrets of Messi's success? And he said, well, you know, most people think that Leo Messi was born with this God-given talent, this birthright to reach the top. And he said, but most people don't understand one of the most important parts of his story, which is when he was 12 or 13, he came across from Argentina, and it was quite clear that he had this skill set, a creative capacity to use his imagination with the ball, and he'd like to turn and dribble and twist. And one of the big problems for the coaches in Barcelona at that time was that the bigger boys within the club would consistently bash him off the ball. He'd lose possession. So it was a problem for him, because the coaches realized we can either support this passion that this child has, this intuitive passion for dribbling and turning, and this skill set that actually not many players look to express, or we can say to him, keep it simple, play safe, do the easy thing, you know, don't take risks. And essentially one of the most profound lessons that I learned from Barcelona was that every time that Messi would lose the ball, they'd give him the ball back in the practice. They'd play him down an age group, they'd play him up an age group, they'd give him a multitude of different experiences. They encouraged him to continue and persist, to use his imagination, to be able to be creative on the ball in different ways, to get past the bigger boys. In other words, they didn't criticize for the failed outcome. They encouraged the effort that preceded the skill. So FootieBugs, as a coaching group and as a philosophy, encourage persistence through creativity. They encourage children to persist despite the outcome of initial failure. So Messi failed over and over and over and over again, and most people think, you know, biographically, when we study the history of great performers in sport, that success is a very linear journey. You start here and you go straight there, and that's success. But actually, if we were to plot the success graph, what we'd find is it goes up, down, left, right, squiggly, back, forwards, up, and eventually, after all of that failure, we get to where we need to be. But Messi learned that it wasn't going to be the outcome, the failed outcome, that the coaches were going to acknowledge. It would be the effort that preceded this outcome. He was allowed to think through the practice independently of the coaches. The coaches encouraged him consistently to be creative with his freedom of thought through play, to eventually continue with the effort to get to the outcome.